All right, welcome in. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-0 after an absolute nail-biting Week 1 win against the Jets thanks to these two amazing plays. Salute to Chris Boswell. Salute to Jalen Ramsey for bailing the Steelers defense out. And a heck of a job by Aaron Rodgers in his Week 1 debut, breaking more records at 42 years old in his 4-touchdown performance, okay? But should we be worried is the question. This win had more red flags than a date with Courtney Love, for crying out loud. Smash the like button, though, if you're like me right now thinking, I'm actually more optimistic now than I was at any point in the offseason because what went wrong, considering it's Week 1, is actually okay. So let's talk about it. Here we go.
Van to the corner of the end zone. Oh, for a touchdown!
All right, welcome in. I'm 25-year sports radio veteran Gavin Dawson. New Bear Lesniewski will join me Monday for a long-form reaction show, but one down, 16-plus playoffs to go. And, man, if this is the floor, if this is Rusty, if this is Cam Hayward holding in and trying to play Week 1, imagine what the ceiling is. And besides, it really should not have come down to the 60-yard kick and the big stop, the big tackle by Ramsey to pop the ball loose. How was this not pass interference on third down? This play, the blown call on the Jalen Ramsey attempted tackle, just absolute garbage by the officiating. And in a league that has so much instant replay, stopping the game down constantly, how were these two calls missed to that extent? But really, in the final 4 minutes, I felt like the Steelers were playing 11 on 12 there in front of the home crowd, and it could have gone wrong at any moment with no fault of their own. But enough of the excuses, enough of the slapping them on the back for getting the dub. After the Ravens in the playoffs and then to this one, look, I get it. Not ideal. If you have anxiety, if you have concern, it's there. But here's where I'm coming from. QBs who can pull it, who can get around the edge, they crash, for big plays like TJ Watt, absolute kryptonite for every single team in the league. The quarterback's ability to run and make big plays, completely run away from even the best, the fastest edges in the NFL, that's just reality. And I think for an NFL team, if you are not running this play, or better yet, if you cannot run this play, you better have an all-pro pocket quarterback and some of the best protection in the entire league if you want to win a Super Bowl. So Aaron Rodgers cannot do that at this point in his career. He could have earlier in his career when he was one of the quickest and fastest quarterbacks out there. But, the age may be showing a little bit on Aaron Rodgers at times with the sacks that he was taking. But more than that, it's the advantage that teams like the Jets have when you have a quarterback that can legitimately run for 200 yards in any game that they really just, want to make that a point of emphasis to go ahead and do. And it sucks. And, you have to deal with that and accept the reality that if you do not have a running quarterback in 2025, you're at a disadvantage, and your defense really has to be superhuman in order to contain it. The great news is when you get down to crunch time, final 2 minutes, as the Jets proved on their last 2 drives, ultimately you're going to have to pass the ball. And if you can survive until the end, you have a quarterback like Rodgers, they have a quarterback like Fields or Lamar Jackson. I think you like your chances when it gets down to crunch time. Okay, how good was Aaron Rodgers, man? Leave a comment down below. 42 years old, still a top 10 quarterback. Is he possibly still the 5th best quarterback in the NFL? He did this without a run game. He did this under constant duress thanks to Broderick Jones. This is what you feel best about. The fact that Aaron Rodgers confirmed to you today he ain't washed up. He might not be the Aaron Rodgers that pulled magic out of his hat in 2014, 2016, and, for the majority of that last decade, really, he might have been the best quarterback in the entire NFL. He's not there, but he's not that far off. The burst ability, the escapability, it's not there. But, hey, the Jets' defense is very legit. Yes, you got the turnover, you got the short field, but you scored 27 points on them, and Aaron Rodgers breaking a couple of records. The first Steelers quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns in a Week 1 game since Ben Roethlisberger in 2007, so first time in 18 years, and then also the first player with 4 touchdown passes in back-to-back games for different teams. That's in the entire history of the NFL. Okay, yeah, the sacks. That's a monster red flag. What do you do about this? If I'm the coaching staff, I'm going into Omar Khan's office first thing tomorrow morning and saying, okay, how long are we waiting? Is this a first month thing? Is this a 2-month thing? Is this an NFL trade deadline thing? But if you want to win the Super Bowl, you're probably going to have to trade for help. Either a legend of a running back, a left tackle, but I would absolutely prefer to get both of those. And maybe a ball hawking safety. But Broderick Jones definitely looks like a swing tackle to me right now. That's a backup. We saw he can play some right decently. He can play left like a backup plays left tackle. But this is not the year to be investing in long-term growth of your struggling younger players. It's not a building year. This is a performance go for it year. You just don't know when Aaron Rodgers is going to have that Tom Brady moment and realize, oh boy, I'm out here trying to run around with guys half my age. It's time to go. Play action was a big problem for the majority of the game. They hit some big plays on it, but they also had drive killers time and time again. And the reason for that, the Jets aren't respecting your run, and they're able to get to your quarterback with 4. So both of those are a significant red flag and a recipe for disaster. If I had to power rank the red flags, I'll take the dual threat quarterback tormenting me for 56 minutes. Okay, that sucks. But unless you have the passing game to go along with it and really punish teams for coming in to the box like maybe the Eagles do, then I'm not that worried about it. The bigger concern here is just overall your left tackle not being able to win much at all. I mean, for a time there in the second and third quarter, I assumed on every 5 and 7 step drop there was going to be pressure and likely a hit on your middle-aged quarterback. So those are red flags. I do think it's notable the team overcame those. They found a way to win, and that's the mark of a playoff team. You definitely got what you paid for, though, in Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Ramsey, and they were absolutely the difference in this game. You don't win this game if you had what you had last year. Okay. Other plays of note, the DK Metcalf catch with 2:30 to play, just unbelievable. This is, I don't know if you can attribute any positive qualities to you. It's just the football gods smiling on you and helping you win those one-score games that are absolutely crucial for playoff positioning. And then I have to ask this, would Tyreek Hill help right now? Take a look at what went down in their Week 1 disaster. Tyreek Hill on the sidelines, and you can imagine a trade request, maybe a trade demand not far off, and it's going to be tough for Coach and Tua to put a happy face on this. Back tomorrow with more of a long-form reaction. Hopefully we'll get the All-22 to look at by then. Until then, we will see you on the Knoll Road.